Charles Ponzi wasn't born a scammer. He was born Carlo Pietro Giovanni Guglielmo Tebaldo Ponzi in Lugo, Italy, on March 3, 1882. His early life was marked by the struggles of a family that was once well off, but had fallen on hard times. Despite their financial difficulties, Ponzi's parents instilled in him the importance of education and hard work. He was born in Italy in 1882, his family was poor. The Ponzis were not destitute, but they were far from wealthy. They lived in a modest home, and young Charles often saw his parents making sacrifices to ensure he had the best opportunities they could afford. This environment of scarcity and aspiration shaped his early ambitions. He dreamed of a better life. From a young age, Charles was determined to rise above his circumstances. He was a bright student, excelling in his studies and showing a particular talent for languages. He learned French and English, skills that would later prove invaluable. His teachers noted his intelligence and ambition, predicting a bright future for him. Ponzi immigrated to the United States in 1903. Like many immigrants of his time, he was drawn by the promise of the American dream. He arrived in Boston with just $2.50 in his pocket, having gambled away the rest of his savings during the voyage. Despite this rocky start, he was filled with hope and determination. He was charismatic but lacked direction. In America, Ponzi's charm and quick wit helped him make friends easily, but he struggled to find a stable career. He took on various jobs, always searching for the opportunity that would bring him the success he craved. He bounced between odd jobs. Ponzi's early years in America were marked by a series of short-term employments. He worked as a clerk, a salesman, and even tried his hand at managing a restaurant. Each job taught him new skills, but none provided the financial stability he sought. He worked as a dishwasher, a painter, and even a factory worker. These jobs were grueling and low-paying, but Ponzi never lost his optimism. He believed that each experience was a stepping stone to something greater, and even a factory worker. Despite the hard labor, Ponzi remained undeterred. He was constantly on the lookout for opportunities to improve his situation. His relentless pursuit of success often led him to take risks, some of which would later come back to haunt him. Ponzi craved wealth and success. His desire for financial security and social status was a driving force in his life. He envied the wealthy and successful individuals he encountered and was determined to join their ranks, no matter the cost. He wanted to be somebody. Ponzi's ambition was not just about money. He wanted recognition and respect. He dreamed of making a name for himself, of being remembered as a man of significance. This burning desire would eventually lead him down a path of deception and fraud. Little did he know his path to notoriety would be paved with deceit. Ponzi's early experiences, combined with his relentless ambition, set the stage for his later exploits. His story is a cautionary tale of how the pursuit of success, when unchecked by ethics, can lead to one's downfall. As we delve deeper into his life, we will see how his early dreams and struggles shaped the infamous figure he would become. In 1919, Ponzi stumbled upon an opportunity. He realized he could exploit international postal reply coupons. These coupons could be bought in one country and redeemed in another. The exchange rates fluctuated. This created a potential for profit. Ponzi promised investors incredible returns. He claimed he could double their money in just 90 days. People were desperate for quick riches. They flocked to invest with him. Ponzi's scheme was simple but effective. Charles Ponzi, an Italian immigrant, arrived in the United States with big dreams and even bigger ambitions. He saw an opportunity in the financial world that others had overlooked. He wasn't actually investing in postal coupons. Instead, he used the concept of international reply coupons, which were meant to be a way to prepay postage for international mail. Ponzi claimed he could buy these coupons cheaply in one country and sell them at a higher price in another, exploiting the differences in currency exchange rates. He was using new investors' money to pay off old investors. This method, now known as a Ponzi scheme, relied on a continuous influx of new investors to keep the illusion of profitability alive. Ponzi promised returns of 50% in 45 days, or 100% in 90 days, which was unheard of at the time. This created the illusion of profit. Early investors, seeing their returns, would often reinvest their money, further fueling the scheme. Word of mouth spread quickly, and more people were eager to invest, believing they were part of a revolutionary financial opportunity. As long as new money kept flowing in, the scheme could continue. However, it was unsustainable. The entire operation depended on a never-ending supply of new investors. Ponzi's scheme grew rapidly, and at its peak, he was making millions of dollars a day. But the more it grew, the more fragile it became. It was like building a tower out of playing cards. The foundation was weak, and any disruption could cause the entire structure to collapse. Ponzi's scheme was inherently flawed because it didn't generate any real profit. It merely redistributed money from new investors to old ones. It was only a matter of time before it all came crashing down. Eventually, the flow of new investors slowed, and Ponzi's debts began to outweigh the incoming funds. When the scheme finally unraveled, thousands of people lost their life savings, and Ponzi was arrested and charged with multiple counts of fraud. His name has since become synonymous with financial deception, serving as a cautionary tale for investors everywhere. For a brief period, Ponzi was on top of the world. He was rolling in money. He bought a mansion, expensive cars, and even a yacht. He was living the high life. The press couldn't get enough of him. People saw him as a financial genius. They didn't know the truth behind his supposed success. As Ponzi's scheme grew, so did suspicions. Financial experts began to question his methods. They couldn't understand how he was generating such high returns. Journalists started digging into his past. They uncovered his history of petty crimes and fraud. The authorities took notice. Investigations were launched. The net was closing in on Charles Ponzi. In August 1920, the House of Cards finally collapsed. The Boston Post published a series of articles exposing Ponzi's scheme. Panic spread like wildfire. Investors rushed to withdraw their money. Of course, there wasn't enough to go around. Ponzi's empire crumbled. He was arrested for mail fraud. The man who had promised riches was now facing prison. The collapse of Ponzi's scheme left thousands of investors financially ruined. Many had invested their life savings. They lost everything. The human cost of Ponzi's greed was immense. People lost their homes, their businesses, and their dreams. The Ponzi scheme became a cautionary tale about the dangers of get-rich-quick schemes. Ponzi pleaded guilty to mail fraud. He was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison. After his release, he was deported to Italy. He died penniless in Brazil in 1949. His name, however, lived on. Ponzi scheme became a term used to describe any fraudulent investment operation that pays returns to investors from their own money or money paid by subsequent investors. Sadly, Ponzi's legacy continues to this day. Charles Ponzi, the man who gave his name to the infamous Ponzi scheme, was a master manipulator. His promise of high returns with little risk lured many into his web of deceit. Though his scheme eventually collapsed, the blueprint he created for financial fraud has endured. Today, we see modern versions of Ponzi schemes that are just as devastating, if not more so, due to the reach and anonymity provided by the internet. Similar schemes still lure unsuspecting victims. These schemes often prey on people's hopes and dreams, promising quick and easy wealth. They can take many forms, from investment opportunities to multi-level marketing plans. The common thread is the promise of high returns with little effort. Unfortunately, many people, driven by the desire for financial security or wealth, fall for these promises without fully understanding the risks involved. The internet has made it even easier for scammers to operate. With just a few clicks, they can reach millions of potential victims. Online platforms and social media are often used to spread these fraudulent schemes, making them appear legitimate and trustworthy. Scammers can create professional-looking websites and use fake testimonials to lure people in. The anonymity of the internet also makes it difficult to track down and prosecute these criminals. The lessons from Ponzi's story are timeless, and they are more relevant than ever in today's digital age. Education and awareness are our best defenses against these schemes. By understanding how Ponzi schemes work and recognizing the red flags, we can protect ourselves and our loved ones from falling victim. Financial literacy should be a priority for everyone, as it empowers us to make informed decisions and avoid scams. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. This age-old adage holds true, especially when it comes to investments. High returns with little or no risk are a major red flag. Legitimate investments typically come with some level of risk, and returns are usually proportional to that risk. Always be skeptical of offers that promise guaranteed returns or seem too perfect. It's important to do your due diligence and thoroughly research any investment opportunity before committing your money. Be wary of promises of high returns with little or no risk. Do your research. Consult with a financial advisor or conduct your own thorough investigation. Look for reviews, check the credentials of the individuals or companies involved, and verify their legitimacy through official channels. It's also wise to diversify your investments to spread risk. Remember, if an investment opportunity is legitimate, it will withstand scrutiny and due diligence. Don't let greed cloud your judgment. Scammers often exploit our natural desire for wealth and financial security. They use high-pressure tactics and create a sense of urgency to push us into making hasty decisions. It's important to stay calm and rational, and not let emotions drive our financial choices. Take the time to think things through and seek advice from trusted sources before making any commitments. Protect yourself from becoming a victim of a modern-day Ponzi scheme. Stay informed and vigilant. Educate yourself and your family about the dangers of financial fraud. Be cautious of unsolicited offers, and always verify the legitimacy of any investment opportunity. By taking these precautions, you can safeguard your financial future and avoid the pitfalls of Ponzi schemes. Remember, the best defense against fraud is knowledge and awareness.